than 30 million views on TikTok.
Asked so much about having to have an answer for being a woman my age in the industry, getting really frustrated.
So I love the message it sends to all ages. Padam is talking to the kids and the long-time fans and new listeners.
Picture this, a pop landscape saturated with ageist barriers. Now, enter Kylie Minogue, armed not only with a determination to break through the anti-age brigade, but also obtaining an addictive thumping club hit that could help her shatter that glass ceiling. Did Kylie have the best 2023? I've done my research, so let's take a deep dive into Kylie's Padam era and learn what it says not just about Minogue, but the treatment of women in pop overall.
Women get older and men get
older,
dignified or character.
yes.
But it's hard to be older. I could accept getting older, but I don't plan to disintegrate.
Pop music is ultimately founded upon escapism. It allows you to fall through the looking glass, offering an entrance to an alternate world, a sonic sanctuary that whisks listeners out of their trauma, their routines, and ultimately their everyday life. It's a genre that Kylie dominated, but it's a genre that eventually bites back. Pop is all about the fantasy of perfection, the fairy tale of accessing the unattainable, reaching somewhere over the rainbow, somewhere only youth exists. Pop is fantasy. Pop is youth. As a result, the mere idea of simply celebrating older artists feels like an unwelcome disease to the foundational dogma of youth that rules the promotion of pop. There's always been a ticking time bomb placed around the necks of pop stars, and this imminent destruction had little to do with the quality of music and more to do with the passage of time. Pop is prejudice. Pop is ageist. For this reason, many pop stars were often forced to lie about their age as a matter of survival. Geri Halliwell claimed to be 21 when she debuted with the Spice Girls when she was actually 25. Nicole Scherzinger claimed to be 28 when she was 30. And Anastasia pretended to be in her early 30s before admitting she was actually 40.
Why the age was always so different in the papers is because I could never remember what it was. They're like, and how old are you, Anastasia? And I was like, 27. 1975, yeah.
And if we look at how little representation women over 40 have in the charts, lying about your age seems like the clever thing to do. Cher was the oldest woman ever to hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 at age 52 with Believe in 1998. That's over a quarter of a century ago, and since then, only 2 women older than 52 have hit #1 in the US, Mariah Carey and Brenda Lee, with 2 well-established, decades-old Christmas songs that they recorded in their youth. So although technically they were above 50 when they achieved the chart topper, the songs originated when they were under 25. In the UK, Kate Bush at 63 was the oldest woman to top the charts when Running Up That Hill had a resurgence thanks to Stranger Things. However, again, this song was an established top 3 hit in 1985 when Kate Bush was in her late 20s. A woman over 50 hitting big with a new original song that was not recorded in her youth honestly rarely stands a chance. Kylie, although still a force to be reckoned with in the touring world, and still managed to achieve a #1 album with Disco in 2020, had all but vanished from the singles chart. Her last top 10 was in 2010, and I'd argue that there is a sinister reason for that. But before we look into it, we need to revisit the summer of 2023 and how it laid the groundwork for a Kylie revolution.
Fabulous.
Stuff of dreams, honestly.
Awesome.
Its video was a saturation of red and was thoroughly eye-catching. The combination of normal locations staging odd and almost otherworldly interactions was an interesting visual. The song, released just as Pride Month was starting, was definitely not an accident and played into Kylie's legacy of a beloved gay icon. Just as Pride parties would generate enormous social gatherings that needed both classic tracks and new bops. However, it's important to note that major radio stations gave the song next to no airplay. One inside source claimed that allegedly, the radio executives argued that Padam was geared towards an older demographic and not their audience, coded language to dismiss older women. This sly, underhanded system has consistently blocked numerous older artists' adequate promotion. How can a pop queen triumph if mainstream media don't play their music? It brings up the age-old argument of the supposed generational differences regarding music, differences I believe are often socially constructed by the ageist media. However, The song quickly went on to find a new audience on TikTok and quickly took off like a rocket.
And the song has racked up, get this, more than 30 million views on TikTok.
Its simple but unusual lyrics were incredibly relatable to a wide variety of situations, meaning endless scenarios were filmed using the chorus as its backing music. The club energy and choreo of the music video created a dance trend, and when you combine these two viral phenomenon together, you create a huge viral hit, which translates into huge streams and therefore a chart comeback. Padam eventually landed at number 8 on the UK charts, her first top 10 since All the Lovers in 2010, 13 years prior. And yet, BBC Radio 1 still wouldn't play the song. In a ridiculous turn of events, when counting down the official UK top 10 in the summer of 2023, every song was played, except Padam. The song soared from 23 to 8, a huge triumph and history-making comeback. Kylie was now the only female to have a top 10 single in 5 consecutive decades, and BBC still refused to play her. A spokesperson for the radio station claimed each track is considered for the playlist based on its musical merit and whether it is right for our target audience, with decisions made on a case-by-case basis. So given the fact that Padam was excluded from airplay, can we surmise the big wigs didn't feel it aligned with their target audience, a traditionally younger audience? It exposed a pro-youth attitude in mainstream media, and it made me wonder how many other potential hits by older women were excluded from the airwaves and subsequently went unnoticed because they didn't have the luxury of going viral on TikTok.
I'm having the time of my life. Every day friends are texting going, check this one, or the memes and the TikToks.
And ultimately, TikTok has changed the system from its very foundations, helping older artists to bypass traditional ageist media. Just like MTV altered the game with visuals, social media has changed the game with the algorithm. Kylie found a new avenue to thrive and became victorious in an industry who attempted to reduce Kylie to a much-loved legacy singer, when in fact, a whole new era of pop music was imminent if it was only given the chance to be heard.
Because I love what I do, there's always a song that hasn't been written, that hasn't been sung. I'm still able, feel totally rejuvenated. Like Padam's given me so much and I'm ready for it.
Capital FM has an annual huge concert in Wembley, and the surprise guest in 2023 was Kylie, singing what song? Padam, a track Capital FM initially refused to play, the ultimate last laugh, or last Padam, and another huge win for Minogue. In the autumn of 2023, Kylie continued to sail on her success curve when the album Tension soared to number 1, effectively outselling the rest of the top 10 combined, her 5th consecutive decade of chart-topping albums, becoming the only woman to achieve this feat. Acclaimed reviews became ubiquitous. Tension had created an album of delicious, diverse and confident and creative new pop material, with numerous publications including it on their list of the best albums of the year. Kylie followed this up with her career first, her own headlining Vegas show that received glittering praise for its intimate atmosphere and anthemic song selections. Her success in the US continued when Tension opened with the biggest first-week sales of her career in 20 years and was the week's top-selling album at the time of its release. And to cement her relaunch into the upper echelons of pop, Padam was nominated for a Grammy, her first Grammy nomination in 15 years. The Potomac was solidified. Kylie swam upstream in direct opposition to the youth obsession that had possessed the glittering world of pop. Her 2023 was one win after another, exposing radio, thriving on TikTok and dominating the charts. Chart analyst James Patterson summed up her glorious year by acknowledging that she had bridged the gap between her loyal fan base and a new generation of music listeners, and long may it continue. Hi, I'm Diva Talk, and thank you for watching.